Hey there everybody, how you doing? This is Bloons Tower Defense Battles tutorial videos where I'm going to show you guys how to become possibly a little bit better at the game. The first video that I'm going to show you is how to possibly rush people a little bit better. So it's going to be a little bit iffy here and there because I kind of have quite a bit of snippets of different gameplay throughout the thing. So if I jump between games or jump between rounds, just pay attention a little bit to all this random stuff. So this is the same game here versus some guy you don't know. Every single person in these videos actually do know that they are being recorded and do know that they're actually trying to help me out in making a video. So it's not real games. I felt like if it was all real games, it would take me hours upon hours of recordings just to make one single video, which would not be worth it for me. So I had people help me out. So these guys were helping me out in making some of these videos. So I have a couple things that I do need to mention about these rushes and stuff like that. You have to keep in mind that there is no sort of one single rush that will work versus everybody. So you have to kind of play based on the game, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize. They just want to say, Chris, show me a rush that's going to work every time, and it doesn't work that way. There's no way you can do that. You need to learn from experience, and that's the only way you're going to become a good rusher. But I can at least show you a few things here and there that could possibly help you out in the long run into making you a better player. So there's two ways you can rush people. There's either way number one, which is to use sort of like black balloons and pink balloons and all those weird balloons in these early rounds to hopefully kind of drain their lives kind of slowly. Most of the time with those little rushes, you're not going to do massive amounts of damage. You're not going to kill them with them, but you're going to do slight amounts of damage over the course of the entire game. 10 lives here, 15 lives there, and slowly get them down to 50 lives, 40 lives, where you can finally finish them off in the late game, or the mid game for that matter. Or there's rush number two, which is try and send a massive, all-out economy full rush against this person and try and defeat them on a certain level. For example, the best levels for this are either level 8, 13, 15, or possibly 22 as well if you get into the late game, or anything above 22 for that matter. So I'm going to go over quite a few rushes today. The first rush is one that you guys just saw right there. It is the yellow regrow rush, or the yellow regrow rush in combination with the blacks and the whites. Now, first off, you definitely have to understand that don't rush people unless you can tell that their defense is kind of bad. There's two kind of problems that I have with rushing people in these games, especially on the early rounds, is that you don't really know exactly how much money they have, and they can build things during your rush to help them defend that rush. So if you go for an all-out rush against these people, it's kind of going to cause some problems for you. So let's get in here with the second rush here. So level 12. One rush that I often do is a few camo pinks in here just to help get him down a little bit of money. It's not the most effective rush, but you can do it. Now level 13, the best rush you can do, you guys probably heard of it, is the Regrow Rainbow Rush of Doom, the R-Rod, or the R-Rod. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but what you want to do is you want to send out the bottom level regrow rainbow balloons on level 13. You don't even need to have them be camo balloons, you just need regrow balloons, and you can set up massive amounts of them, and most people cannot deal with those rushes, especially if they're noob cakish players. Now most of the players that I've played, and most of the players that play pretty consistently, understand how to beat these regrow rainbow rushes pretty easily. In fact, we kind of design most of our defense around these. But there's another rush that you can do on level 15, which is a ceramic rush. And not only do you maybe want to get certain sort of ceramic rushes, you can also mix balloons in there. So I'm going to go over that a little bit later, but just understand that regrow ceramics are another really good rush against people. Once you get past level 8, most of the balloons that you want to rush people with are almost always going to be regrow balloons. Unless you're just getting economy balloons, if you're not going to try and hurt them or kill them, you definitely want to get these regrow ceramics up. Regrow ceramics are very good versus anybody who has not very much good popping power. For, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain because there's quite a few towers that have good ceramic popping power, but tack shooters have good ceramic popping power. 4-2 cannons can stop ceramics pretty easily, as well as just anything that has a lot of really fast attacking damage. So again, this is more of along the lines, if you have to understand the game and understand what type of rushes will get through people, but if you keep trying out these different rushes, level 13 Regrow Rainbow Rush, level 15 Ceramic Rush, level 22 BFB Rush, things like that, eventually you'll understand the weaknesses and how you can actually understand if you're going to beat people with these rushes or not. So it's kind of a test to understand, retest and understand, retest and understand, and see how well you can actually do. Now again, you have to keep in mind that these people can build defenses during your rushes, which you have to keep in mind how much money they have during the game. That's one thing that a lot of noob cakes players don't really understand, is how much money does your enemy have. So that's another really tough thing here. So I did tell all these guys, yeah, try and get your defense up really solid, and of course they're obliging, and they're doing pretty darn good over here. They got really solid Moab defense over here. But level 18, if you send out a few Moabs here and there, you can actually do a pretty decent attack on people. But what I recommend doing is most of the time don't attack on round 18. You usually want to wait till round 20 or round 22. So we jumped in over here to level round 8 on the temple, and here's another really good rush that you guys can do. It's a mixture of regrow yellows and regrow blacks, and what you can often do, especially if you have just some sort of cannon and tack shooter defense, is get the regrow yellows to tank the damage, while the regrow blacks cannot get hurt by the cannon. So overall, you just do quite a bit of damage to people. You can actually do a lot of damage with that rush right there. I actually do it very often in a lot of my videos. You guys might not notice it, but regrow blacks, regrow yellows, and the combination with each other can be very efficient. As well as regrow yellows by themselves can be very good. If you notice somebody has just one boomerang or just one cannon, you can usually get some regrow yellows through their defense. So obviously that's one good way to get some damage on them, but especially if they have just one boomerang, 1, 2, 3 boomerang, you can usually do a lot of damage with one of those big regrow yellow rushes. But if they get any sort of cannons up during that rush, it's just pretty much game over. So that's why you usually have to pay attention to their income right around level 7 to see if they go too much income and spend all their money and they don't have enough defense. That's usually what I end up doing. Now here's level 12. And again, I'm trying to do the mortar exploit here. What the mortar exploit is there's a couple different mortar exploits, but it's either just trying to get some random pink balloons through their mortar, or you can go with a bunch of balloons on top of camo balloons, which I'm going to show you guys just a little bit later as well, which will help you get another set of balloons get through there. A lot of camo balloons will try and leak through their defense. So you can tell they have a really good defense at the moment. They've got a 3-0 boomerang, they've got a 2-3 boomerang, they've got a 3-0 cannon, and they're getting even more defense up for these regrow rainbows that could come out on the next level here. And I'm still going to want to show you guys the regrow rainbow rush, but I'm not sure if I exactly want to send it out right now. Keep in mind that you don't have to send out rushes right as soon as level 13 happens, or right as soon as level 15 happens. You can get some extra money and send out an even bigger rush against these guys. So what I did was I said, screw level 13 rushes, we're going to go for level 15 rushes, and we're going to try a really nice combination here again. You want to go for a regrow rainbow combination with a regrow ceramic rush, and instead of again rushing on level 15, we're going to wait a little while until we get a little bit more money. So a couple of regrow rainbows, a couple of regrow ceramics, and what this allows you to do is if you have if they don't have that much popping power, obviously this guy's a really good defense, but if they don't have a perfect defense or this much popping power, oftentimes the cannon will not be able to pop all of the regrow ceramics, and it'll just kind of cause more problems for them in the long run. They'll basically just get overrun by a lot of these regrow ceramics, because the 2-3 boomerangs are necessary to help pop those regrow ceramics down to the regrow rainbows. But if you don't have the 2-3 boomerang doing any sort of damage to them, then they're basically screwed over. So again, I jumped over here to a further level. We're already in round 19 on this temple level. Same game that we were just playing here. And what you can do is, if you want to try and rush this person, I'm going to do the mortar exploit. Now this is a good way to kill people, especially if you have a lot of money and there's almost no way to beat them besides getting camo balloons somehow through their defense. It's something that not a lot of people think about. Somebody's just like, oh, I got a mortar, I got full camo detection. But you can do something against that. So what you want to do is you want to send out quite a few Moabs, and then right underneath that, you want to wait just a few seconds here and then send some camo pinks. Or camo anything for that matter. Camo ceramics, camo whatever. And if you can get those guys through their defense, you can make them lose life. So we went down from 120 something down to 51 here. Now, if I had a bunch of money, which normally I would have a little bit more money here if I wasn't trying to do massive amounts of rush every single second here, I would be able to send out a few fast cooldown camo ceramics underneath that, and then as soon as you get 2 camo ceramics through his defense, bam, you just won the game right there, guys. So again, camo pinks, they can be useful, but I think camo ceramics are actually just a little bit better. If you can get 1 camo ceramic through their defense, it's already 100-ish lives. So that's pretty much the end of that game right there, here, guys. We're getting to another last little ditch effort of rushing people. Regrow balloons, level 8. A really good way to kill people is regrow balloons. Regrow blacks, regrow whites, regrow yellows, and mix them up a little bit if you're trying to do some damage here. He's got just a cannon there and just a few tack shooters, and even with those tack shooters there, you can tell those yellow regrows were actually tanking the damage, allowing those black regrows to get through, and his 3-0 cannon just couldn't pop those black balloons. So that's another really good rush that people don't think about here. Now again, if you're more of a noob, go with mostly regrow yellow rushes. You're going to do a pretty darn good job with those guys, as well as you can just send out straight regrow blacks. But combinations are key. Combinations are much better than just solo blues. Regrow blacks and yellows together are very fantastic. Regrow rainbows and regrow ceramics are a very good combination. Regrow BFBs with camo balloons underneath them, fantastic combination right there. So combinations are key when you're going for these good rushes here, guys. And I often don't use very many combinations in some of my videos because it's a little bit tougher to do when I'm commentating, I'm rushing, I'm playing the game, I'm defending, all these things all together, trying to commentate and click all these buttons. It's just tough to do. So now that I have time to commentate after the video is already done here, I actually can, or I don't have to commentate while I'm playing the game. I can do these little bit crazier rushes and actually make them worthwhile. So again, another quick trying to mortar exploit him a little bit. It's not going to work on every single level, but every once in a while you can get some of those camo pinks through there, especially if he's down really, really low on his lives. If he's down to like 10 lives or something like that, sending out a lot of those pinks will make him either build another mortar, which will waste his money, or just get those 2 pinks through there and you're going to win the game. Right there, fantastic. So what I did was, instead of going for a full regrow rainbow rush on against this guy, I decided to go for a full regrow zebra rush. Now the cool thing about regrow zebras, which is a lot of people really don't use them, but regrow zebras are just so much more inexpensive compared to those regrow rainbows, so sometimes they can be a little bit more effective than people think. Now obviously it didn't work out fantastic right now because he's got a ring of fire as well as a 3-0 cannon, which is a very good combination in itself. You really cannot get very many balloons through that, but the regrow zebras are a very good way to go, or it's a very similar thing to regrow rainbows. It's just one balloon layer less, so it's realistically not that much of a difference, and you get them almost twice as cheap. Very effective here, guys. Go with those regrow zebra rushes a little bit more often, especially if you know that they don't have enough pierce, basically. Like Ring of Fires don't have that much pierce overall. They just kind of have a lot of they're kind of fast, so I usually think that there's kind of a few weaknesses to Ring of Fires, especially those regrow rainbow, regrow ceramic rushes. Now you can tell that I really don't have very much money right now. Cards is one of those levels where you just don't have a lot of economy, so I'm trying to defend to the best of my ability here, and also keep in mind that they understand that they're not really supposed to rush me here. He could probably kill me. All these guys could have killed me in most of these games, especially because I'm sending out all of these rushes all at once, but I felt like it was more exciting for me to send out all these rushes and kind of get them over there. By the way, I'm really tired right now, so if I sound a little bit stupid sometimes, I don't even know what I'm talking about when I get lost in my words. I just get tired and I get lost in my words here. So anyways, I have a bunch of money here now, and what do you want to do on these last few levels here? You got round 17 coming up here, and you always think, oh, round 18 is Moabs. But you have to think there's other ways to rush people once you get to those level 18. Once you get to level 18, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I need to get 3 Moab ballers up for level 18, or get a lot of Moab popping power. But people don't realize is that you can send out a lot of balloons on level 18 as well. Even if you don't have enough balloons at level 13 and 15, those rushes, you can set up more balloons on level 18 with those regrow ceramics. Regrow non-space ceramics or fast cooldown ceramics, as you can tell looking at my screen right here, $675 for one of them, but you can send out them so fast that you can usually overwhelm these guys. So right here, I have a really solid rush on him. I'm just going to go for regrow ceramics instead of these Moab rushes, which I think is going to be more than enough to actually kill him. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Hopefully this tutorial helped you guys out just a little bit. If you guys have any more suggestions for me, let me know in the comments. I would definitely like to hear about those. Some more tutorial videos should come out in the future. We'll see how we can do these guys. I'm trying to make them as best as I possibly can, but you can't make them perfect. They're just kind of hard to make overall. Again, thank you for watching, and have a great day.